Okay, so before we sum things up, we of course got to get you guys another boost. So we got boost on. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at the all-new 2023 Genesis GV60 Performance. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Genesis of Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this GV60. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below. Definitely check them out. If you have any questions whatsoever, just ask for Marie. And seriously, if you're going to be purchasing a new Genesis, you live in like the Western US, you're going to want to purchase from the Genesis in Linden because, well, they're the best dealer in the region. Pretty straightforward. Anyways, as always, also, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So let's go over some of the performance specs with the GV60. We've got a 77.4 kilowatt hour battery pack paired to a dual electric motor setup. With this setup, we've got 235 miles of driving range. Power outputs are 429 horsepower and then 446 pound-feet of torque. We do have a boost function, which jumps the power outputs up to 483 horsepower and then 516 pound-feet of torque for 10 seconds. And yes, we will be testing that out today. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention that if you want to see more reviews just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post reviews every single day on a massive variety of cars. Now, going over the front end, you guys can see we've got distinctive lines on either side of the hood. This color is called Sao Paulo Lime, which I'm pretty sure that's actually a town in Brazil minus the lime part. Crazy color. I'll try to remember to put an iPhone image over this so you guys can see what it actually looks like because this camera image is not accurate at all. The camera filter's completely overwhelmed because this color is so neon bright. Anyways, you guys can see here with the lights, they look absolutely crazy. By the way, they don't blink in real life. That's just because of the frame rate of the camera. And then you guys can see the Genesis logo here in the center. And then obviously most of it's closed off here on the front end because it's fully electric. But you can see here with the grille all blacked out there, you got the sensor there at the bottom. And overall, it looks really cool. And like I said, the camera doesn't, like, it makes the color look more white than it actually is. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 255/40/21 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design on the wheels. It is absolutely crazy in normal Genesis fashion. There's quite a bit happening. It's crazy. This is a stock wheel. Anyways, I think this is pretty cool. So normally a lot of automakers will just do like exposed black plastic, but this is painted, but it's painted a different color. So it just, I don't know, creates some nice contrast. And you can see it matches there with what's happening on the front end. You can see it kind of continues here along the side. And then notice with the mirrors, they're black there at the bottom. We got the pop-out door handles. And then notice the roof rails are also blacked out. And there's your full side view. So here's our new key fob for the GV60. And the reason why I say new key fob is this is Genesis's new key fob that they will have moving forward, which I think is really cool. It's still very lightweight, but it just, like, I don't know, it looks neat. Anyways, we've got basic functions on one side, your lock, your unlock, and then like opening for the hatch, which we'll press right now. And then on the other side, we've got our remote start function. We have our parking assist, and then this is to open up the charge port. And so you literally have just everything built into this key fob in a nice little package. But popping inside of the cargo area, you guys can see here with the cargo cover. And overall, storage space is actually pretty decent. Even though this is not a massive SUV, I'd put it kind of like in the middle-sized category. It's still pretty dang practical. And let's see what's under the loading floor. Oh, so got a little bit more storage space underneath as well. And then you guys can see we've got a 12 volt here in the back. And yeah, that's pretty much it. When you're all done, you can lock it or you can just press this button, then I'll lower it right down. Now let's finish things up with the rest of the rear. So first off, I love these taillights. Like, look how cool those are. And then look at the spoiler here on the back end, and it's kind of like in the middle of the window. So you've got like window, and then you have like a little bit of window there at the bottom as well, and you can see the camera built into it. It's just very interesting. And then of course, regular badges here on the back, parking sensors here at the bottom, and then you guys can see kind of like the rest of the bumper right there. And overall, it has this cool futuristic appearance to it, that's for sure. So we've got our charge port over here. I'll hold down the charge button there on the key fob and it'll pop it right open. And yes, this does have fast charging, so you just have this little cap that you pull off if you have a fast charger. Otherwise, you can just do traditional charging with it as well. I like this here on the side. That's pretty fun. But pretty straightforward. When you're done, just press that and boom, closes it. Let's go over the door panel here in the rear. So first off, we have sunshades here for the rear passengers, and then look at this leather trim here, and then you've got the Alcantara down below that, and then you can see more leather trim. I love the little circular door handle. Then Bang & Olufsen sound system, which by the way, tested it out earlier, and yeah, sounds amazing. We do have heated seats for the back, and I love the window control. Like, it just, I don't know, looks cool. And we're gonna pop over this seat because the lighting's a little bit better, but here are the seats. Look at the design. Absolutely ridiculous, like so beautiful. And then we'll actually pop in. So here's our legroom. It's comfy in here. And then you guys can see the little storage pocket. We got some USB ports, some netting. And then look at this for the seats. You can like fold it forward. Well, not the seats, but rather this seat, because every single Genesis model like makes sure that this back seat is always the most important, which is kind of funny. Chauffeur life, right? And then here's the cup holder armrest setup. But yeah, I need to like emphasize, these are probably some of the most comfortable seats I have ever sat in a car before. Like, just look at like the little details with how they've kind of like molded it all. It's really special, that's all I'm gonna say. Let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel again. You guys can see here at the trim at the top, and then down below it completely matches the rear door panel, so you have uniformity. And then we've got all of our window controls here, another cool door handle, and then I love the mirror adjustment here. Definitely fun with that, and that, by the way, folds in the mirrors. And they do have blind spot monitoring. And again, it's just like on its own little stock, just some cool touches here. Now, popping to the side of the front seat, you can see all of our adjustments. There's like a bajillion of them, and we do have massaging seats as well. And then here are these seats themselves. Man, this is just crazy how nice these look. Sorry about the shadow on the seats, by the way. But anyways, look at the pedal layout down below, if the camera will focus on them. And then we have our stability control here. And then we've got this for the parking brake rather, and then that is to open up the hatch. Steering wheel is power adjustable. Let's pop in. So here's the steering wheel for the GV60, really nice leather trim all around, and then you can see the stitching there on the center portion. We had our drive mode button, boost button there, and then just look at like the finishes on the controls. And by the way, this does have adaptive cruise control and steering assist. And with the steering assist, you just have to lightly have your hand on the steering wheel. You don't have to be grabbing it, which is great. And then we got like our volume controls, voice command controls. This is actually some stuff for the center stack. Now the minus paddle makes it so there's less regen, plus paddle makes it so there is more regen. And then turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and there you go. So here's the center gauge cluster. First off, you guys can see we've got 71% charged and then 157 miles of stated range with that amount of charge. Overall resolution on it is fantastic. And then you guys remember that little square there on the steering wheel? That actually lets us scroll through some stuff here on the side so you guys can see like power distribution, which I'm actually gonna leave up because I'm very interested to see what it actually is with the vehicle. And then if I press that drive mode button, notice the drive modes pop up. We have a comfort, sport, and then look at the gauge there on the side, how it changes. That's awesome. And then an eco mode as well. So yeah, I think that's fun. But yeah, really cool gauge cluster. Also, you guys can see there with the level 0 showing us how aggressive the regen is with the GV60 at any given time. But there's the center. So here's the center infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And notice we got that bird's eye view, and we can do this cool exterior shot here as well. So with the camera system, it's fantastic. There's also a camera button that you can press, and that'll pull up the whole system as well. So you don't have to pop it into reverse. Anyways, as for the infotainment screen, you guys can see response time is fantastic. I can also control it via a dial if I want. Some notable features here, and I kind of already mentioned one of these, massaging seats. I press the massage button and then it turns it on, so I'll press it again. So you guys can see it pulls up with the different types of massages that I can go through, which is cool. Other notable features here is the EV tab. So notice it shows, oops, I went too far. It shows the current range, but I love how it shows how much range I'd have if I didn't turn on the AC. It's kind of dangerous. No, I'm just kidding, but like it's cool that it lets you do that. Really customizable overall, but yeah, super good system. I have this like big strip where there's these two vents, and then you just have like the lonesome vent there on the passenger side. Material use though is really nice. And then you guys can see even on the dash as well. Yeah, just super high quality. And then we do have our climate controls down below, dual zone climate system, and the tabs for the temperature feel really high quality. USBs down below, 12 volt, and then just like an empty void, like underneath, which kind of gives us like a spaceship type feel, essentially. We have a couple cup holders right here. This is actually a fingerprint scanner, and then you guys can see the volume controls around it. Now, this basically is part of the making you the key fob type situation where you can drive the car by using like the fingerprint scanner, and there's also, wait for it, an eye scanner as well. And so like, yeah, it does have a traditional key fob you guys saw, but you also can, yeah, turn yourself into a key fob. In before someone like uses this to, I guess, like put into a movie where someone steals someone's car by like forcing them to like do the eye and fingerprint scanner. I think we're gonna see that in a movie pretty soon. Anyways, this little dial that controls the infotainment system, and then this is our dial shifter. You guys saw at the beginning how it kind of does that cool flip thing with turning on. And then we have our heated cooled seat control here, heated steering wheel, and then auto hold, and that's for the camera system. And center console, pretty normal. There's a wireless phone charging pad right there. And then you guys can see nice leather trim on top. And then even the handle for the glove box here, yeah, looks great. But it opens up like, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's something that's definitely interesting. I feel like nobody talks about that with the GV60, how it opens up like a cap or like a, yeah, anyways. You guys can see here with the top really nice premium headliner, it continues onto the pillars as well. And then we do have a panoramic sunroof here. We've got like the sunshade that, whoa, that's weird. Wow, that's an effect. That's cool. So sorry about the glare, but here's our window sticker for this 2023 GV60 Performance, and pretty much everything standard equipment on this. The base price is $67,890, and there's only a few options, which brings the total MSRP to $69,305. But also warranty information: 5-year, 60,000 mile new vehicle warranty, 10-year, 100,000 mile on the powertrain, and then 10-year, 100,000 mile on the electric vehicle system warranty as well. So kind of a really solid warranty, actually, even considering the fact that a lot of other automakers will have pretty long warranties in their, you know, electronic components. But anyways, let's see how this thing drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. We've got our visibility of the hood, and you guys can hopefully now see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which like I said, do have blind spot monitoring. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So, setting off here in the GV60, and this is the second time I've had a chance to drive one of these. The first one was at a driving event in Colorado, but I didn't really get all that much time with the GV60. It was basically jump in the car, quickly drive it, and then that was it. Whereas now I get quite a bit of time. And by the way, this is the Genesis of Linden's basically their demo vehicle. So if you want to drive the new GV60 before you purchase one, then you can do that. Notice we also have the turn signal camera, which is a nice luxury feature, well, safety feature as well, but it's also kind of like a nice luxury feature, which, yeah, this thing is full of it. Also, I need to have the massaging seat on. I don't know why I'm not getting a massage. There we go. We're gonna go for a whole body stretch this time. Man, there's like never any traffic here, and then as soon as I try to do my silly little review, all the cars pop out. But first thing, you know, just like most electric cars, really quiet, because no engine rumbling, right? But also I want to mention, I'm really impressed with the suspension. So this is not a very large vehicle. Like I said, it's built on the same platform as the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. And so it's like, again, it's got enough space. It's probably like what Toyota RAV4 size, I think, is like a pretty good comparison. But still, like, it's super comfortable. Like, usually vehicles that are this size usually are kind of, you know, a little bit bumpy, but they've done a really good job, despite the fact this doesn't have a super long wheelbase. I am noticing that it's rear bias with where it's sending power. It's sending it mostly to the rear, which you can kind of feel at the driving dynamics, because you get like a push rather than a, you know, pull out of situations. It's so quiet. And these seats, seriously, like, they're so comfortable. The bolstering's really nice. The massaging seat function, also really nice. Yeah, it's always sending more to the rear. I mean, it's either even or it's more rear biased. Yeah, it seems like, yeah, that's what you'd want. And again, we're in the comfort. I want to swap to the eco mode and see. And by the way, I'm on level 3 with the regen, so it's basically doing the most amount. So if I like let off, it goes pretty hard on the regen. And I can also hold the plus paddle. And the thing is cool is if you hold down the plus paddle, it makes the regen even more aggressive. Okay, so continuing along, this is my little like bumpy road test. So this road's kind of beat up quite a bit. And you guys can see we've got like little, not big potholes, but little things to go over. Yeah, and the suspension's just soaking it all up. Yeah, Genesis did a fantastic job. And again, this has 21-inch wheels. You would not expect it to be that comfortable. Now I'm gonna pop it in the sport mode. Instantly gets more aggressive. And yeah, this is where things get exciting. We're gonna let this guy go first because we are gonna get one heck of an acceleration. So boost. Whoa! Wow. Man, does this thing move in the boost. Wow. Oh my gosh. I should not have had lunch before reviewing this car. Wow, that is intense. That is seriously intense. I actually want to see the difference between that and like the regular. I mean, the regular acceleration is no joke. So like, wow. Again, demonstration purposes. Don't try that at home, kids. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, that is impressive. Gonna go up here for a second. I'm trying to get as much seat time as I can to really see kind of all of the driving dynamics, because I am about to make a pretty crazy claim here in a second. And I'm looking at the power distribution, and let me do that again. So it seems like it's pretty even, but then it'll send a little bit more, just a hint more to the front initially, and then more to the back after. That's kind of weird. Okay, so before we sum things up, we of course got to get you guys another boost. So we got boost on. Oh my goodness. It's like the tires are like, ah! They put down the power though. They put down the power, that's for sure. Man, this thing's intense. So here's what I have to say to sum things up. Don't buy a Tesla. Seriously. So you guys know I have reviewed a ton of electric cars this year, and I've been super impressed with what, you know, the quote-unquote legacy automakers are putting out, and this is no exception. The GV60 is such an amazing electric car. Acceleration is insane. Now I know some people will talk about the range, but something that I've noticed with a lot of these electric cars is they are pretty underrated by the EPA. Like, I had a BMW i4 for a week, and the EPA rated it at like 220 miles of range, and I got like 300 miles of range. So if this says 235 miles of range from the EPA, then I feel like it's pretty safe to assume if you drive like normal, you're probably gonna get close to 300 miles of range, because the EPA just doesn't seem to know how to properly rate electric vehicles with their range, unless it's Tesla. If it's Tesla, then they seem to give it the best rating ever. I feel like something's fishy's happening there. But I love how this looks. You can get this in normal colors, by the way. You don't have to get like the crazy neon green, even though this is a really cool color. Interior is so much nicer than any Tesla interior. Even a Model S or Model X Plaid does not compare to this from an interior perspective, and this isn't, you know, and those are literally more than twice the price of this. So yeah, if you're gonna get an EV SUV, then you have to at least check this out. And I think after checking this out, you're probably gonna want to buy it, especially over a Tesla Model 3 or a Tesla Model Y, because, and I've seen the tests, like this is faster than both of those cars. It drives way better. It's more comfortable. Like I don't see any reason for buying Tesla after driving this. RIP Tesla, that's all I gotta say. That's gonna sum things up for our video on the GV60 Performance. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Genesis here in Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this GV60. Check out the info in the description down below. Ask for Marie if you have any questions. And again, if you're gonna buy a Genesis, you gotta buy it from the Genesis of Linden. I'll see ya.